In the sun-dappled whispering woods, lived two little creatures with coats as soft as dandelion fluff. Puku and Puki. They were small, no bigger than a squirrel's paw, but their hearts held dreams as vast as the sky. Puku, with his bright, eager eyes, was a creature of boundless enthusiasm. He saw every new day as an invitation to explore, every challenge as a game. Puki, on the other hand, was more thoughtful, her gaze often a little distant, carrying the quiet wisdom of past experiences, some joyful, some tinged with the ache of disappointment. Their shared dream was to reach the great shimmering peak, a mountain rumored to house the legendary star-petal bloom, a flower said to grant enduring happiness. The first ascent, Puku's rush and Puki's hesitation. Come on, Puki, Puku chirped, his tiny legs already scrambling up the first rocky incline. We must hurry, the star-petal bloom awaits. Quote. Puki looked up at the daunting peak, a familiar weariness settling in her fluff. She remembered other, great dreams she had chased, other mountains she had attempted, only to slide back down, bruised and defeated. It's very high, Puku, she murmured, a faint tremor in her voice. And the path looks treacherous. Nonsense, Puku declared, already halfway up a steep boulder. It's just a matter of trying. Quote. Puki, though hesitant, couldn't resist Puku's infectious optimism for long. She joined him, albeit with more measured steps. Puku, true to form, attacked the mountain with raw energy. He leaped, he clambered, he ignored warning signs, but the mountain was unforgiving. He slipped on loose gravel, tumbled down a small slope, and landed in a dizzy heap. Oof, he gasped, picking himself up. Covered in dust, he looked up at the path he'd lost in sight. Puki, meanwhile, had been meticulously testing each foothold, slowly but steadily, but her caution soon turned to fear. A section of the path was blocked by thorny vines, reminding her vividly of a painful experience where she'd been stuck before. Her old fears resurfaced, paralyzing her. She stopped, unable to move forward, unable to push past the memory of past pain. The valley of doubts, learning from failure. Both Puku and Puki found themselves retreating to the base of the mountain. Disheartened, Puku slumped, his bright fur dulled by disappointment. It's too hard, he whimpered. I tried my best, but I just kept falling. He stared at his scraped paws. Maybe I'm not strong enough. Puki sat beside him, silent, her mind replayed old failures. It's not just strength, Puku, she whispered, her voice barely audible. It's the fear of trying again when you know how much it hurts to fail. I saw those thorns, and I just couldn't. I remembered all the times I got scratched and gave up. They spent days in the valley of doubts, watching other little creatures go about their daily lives, gathering berries, building nests. Their dream felt like a distant, impossible star. The inner spark, a new approach. One morning, Puku watched a small ant meticulously carry a crumb far larger than itself. Navigating around obstacles with unwavering focus. An idea sparked. The ant didn't rush Puki, he observed. It looked, it planned, it found a way around. And when it fell, it just got up and tried again. Puku decided to try again. But differently. This time, he didn't bound. He observed. He studied the rock faces, looking for secure handholds, for tiny ledges hidden from a quick glance. When he slipped, he didn't give up. He paused, rubbed his sore paw, and re-evaluated his approach. Each tumble was a lesson. Though painful, he learned to trust his instincts, to test the ground before committing his weight. Meanwhile, Puki was also having her own revelation. Watching Puku move with newfound thoughtfulness, she realized her fear wasn't about the mountain, but about her memory of previous failures. What if this time was different? What if she had learned something she hadn't realized? She remembered an old tale of a wise owl who said, "The steepest climbs often hide the best paths if you look closely. And past wounds can become future wisdom." Puki approached the thorny section again. This time, instead of seeing just thorns, she saw a pattern. She realized there was a small, less obvious gap, a detour she had missed because she was so focused on the fear of the direct path. Slowly, cautiously, she began to weave her way through, using her agility and patience. The summit shared wisdom and resilient hearts. Days turned into weeks. Puku, with his newfound patience, had made significant progress, but now faced a sheer, smooth rock face that seemed impossible. Puki, with her courage renewed, had found a winding, less direct but safer path that brought her to a point just below Puku. They saw each other, their eyes widened in surprise and relief. Puki, Puku exclaimed, his voice filled with newfound respect. You found a way, quote, and you, Puku, you've climbed so high, and so carefully, Puki responded, admiring his strategic moves. But this last part, Puku gestured at the smooth rock. I can't get a grip. And my path, Puki said, ends here, a little below you, but it's too far to jump. They sat, thinking. Puku remembered how the ant had used its friends to help lift heavy loads. Puki remembered the owl's words about different paths. What if, Puku suggested, I lean down, just a little, and you climb onto my back? You're lighter, and you could reach that tiny crevice. Puki nodded, her eyes bright. And then, Puku, I can anchor myself there, and give you a boost, or pull you up from a better angle. Quote, it was a risky move, requiring trust and precise timing. Puku braced himself, trembling with effort as Puki carefully scrambled onto his back. Puki then stretched, her tiny claws finding purchase in the hidden crevice. With a coordinated effort, Puku pushed from below, and Puki pulled from above. Inch by arduous inch, they ascended the last, most challenging part. Finally, breathless and exhilarated, they reached the summit. And there it was, the star-petal bloom, not a single flower, but a dazzling field of tiny, vibrant blossoms, each radiating a gentle, warm light. The view from the peak was breathtaking, stretching endlessly under the benevolent sun. The lesson of the star-petal bloom. They sat amidst the glowing flowers, their hearts full. It's even more beautiful than I imagined, Puku whispered, his eyes shining. Puki leaned into him, a soft, contented sigh escaping her. It is, Puku, but the true beauty isn't just the bloom. Is it? Quote, Puku looked at his scraped paws, then at Puki's calm face. No, he said, a profound understanding dawning in his bright eyes. The true beauty was in learning how to climb. It was in falling, and getting back up. It was in realizing that my endless energy wasn't enough without your careful wisdom. And your wisdom needed my willingness to keep trying. And, Puki added, it was in realizing that the past failures didn't define us. They just taught us new ways to succeed. And that sometimes, the goal isn't just about what you achieve, but about who you become and the journey you share. From that day on, Puku and Puki continued to explore the Whispering Woods. But with a different spirit. Puku still leaped with enthusiasm. But now he observed before he acted. Puki still weighed her options. But she no longer let past fears paralyze her. They knew that life would always present new peaks and valleys, but they carried within them the star-petal bloom, the enduring happiness found not in avoiding struggle, but in meeting it with a resilient heart, an open mind, and a willingness to learn and grow. Together,